Thanks for tuning in to the Peanut Labs monthly leadership series. We have someone who is an icon in the video game industry here with us today. He's a celebrity, and he has a mass following both in the US and around the world. He has created what is possibly the greatest icon in the game industry of the decade. Welcome, Kai.
Thanks for having me, Ali. Let me make one correction. I do not have a mass following. The games have a mass following. I have zero following.
Kai's a very humble and down-to-earth guy, but he is the co-founder of Guitar Hero, and Guitar Hero, as you know, has spawned into a massive franchise. They were acquired by Activision for around $100 million. And Kai started the company earlier, was it
1999.
1999.
We started the company.
So 99, it's been a long journey, and the franchise has cumulatively done $3 billion in sales with Guitar Hero and DJ Hero.
That's right.
So we're here to hear the story of how you started the company, and going back to the early days, because that's that's a part of the story that's not talked about as much.
Yeah, so my brother Charles and I started the company in 1999, and we actually started the company as an online video game rental service. So the company itself, right, Octane, has gone through tremendous transformation over the years. We started off as online video game rental, so think Netflix, but for video games. And that really wasn't in the heart of the game industry. We weren't a publisher, we weren't a developer, but it was a very interesting opportunity for us. Video game rentals was $1 billion a year business, yet there was no company focused on renting video games. You had your Blockbusters and your Hollywood Videos, renting games, but their game rentals were a small shelf in the corner of the store, and we thought, wow, isn't there a great opportunity if someone were to focus on that consumer? It's $1 billion market, and really capture a large share. So that's how we started in 1999. In 2000, in the middle of 2000, after the market collapsed and we realized we weren't going to raise any more money, we had to figure out how to actually generate revenue and income ourselves. And what happened was that one of the games that we were renting was a game called Dance Dance Revolution, DDR, which was very popular in Japan at the time, but hadn't made its way to the US yet. Mm-hmm. So we were renting that game, and our customers were asking us, hey, we're renting the game from you. Can you sell us the dance mats, or do you rent the dance mats? And for several months we said, no, all we do is rent video games. We don't sell dance mats. You're going to have to go somewhere else to buy the dance mats. Well, after a few months of them asking us, we thought, we got to start generating revenue. We already have a website. We already take credit cards. We're going to have a warehouse because we ship video games, the rentals.
The boxes and the discs.
That's right. So it's not that much harder to ship a dance mat. In fact, it's easier because the rentals were two-way shipping, and the dance mats were one way. We just had to ship them. We sold them and we shipped them one way. So we thought, okay, well, let's start selling dance mats. And we had a few people in the company, who were huge fans of the game. So we figured out where to buy the dance mats. We actually bought them locally from some distributors. We paid $15 for the dance mats, and we resold them for $30. So in the middle of 2000, we started getting into the dance mat business. And then from there, we had distribution, because the year before we actually started to go into retail distribution, and we had our dance mats out in EB Games and GameStop and Best Buy and Target and Toys R Us. And what was unusual for us at the time was that we were actually going direct with the retailers. So very few companies, number one, even get a product onto the shelf. Mm-hmm. But number two, very few companies, even less companies, are able to go direct with them. And we spent 6 months trying to work the angle, get in the door to try to sell into those guys.
And that's going to be a big challenge, right? I mean, being able to get shelf space is almost like a make or break decision for a lot of companies. How did you convince these retailers to give you shelf space?
We knew we had a great product and we knew it would sell. They just needed a channel to do that. And we knew that constantly pushing them to take it into retail was a dead end. It just wasn't going to work. So we had to figure out another angle. And the angle was, how do how do you do it in such a way that they're willing to accept a test, a trial here, and then it slowly expands.
Mm-hmm.
And if it works, like it did for us, then it will continue to expand. The first big break was really, EB Games finally said, okay, well, we tested it online, it looks pretty good. Why don't you send us some products so we'll test it in 50 of our stores? So we actually sent them, about 500 dance mats, and they put it in the 50 stores. One of the stores happened to be in Dallas, which was the home of GameStop, the headquarters. And the following Monday, we get to the office, and the GameStop buyer calls us and said, "Hey, I just walked into my competitor's store. I saw your dance mats stacked to the ceiling. Why don't you send us 5,000 of them?" And there was such competition between them at the time, but that was something that was new to us. And we ultimately learned is that there was a tremendous amount of competition between them. But that was another one of our sort of lucky breaks was, something as simple as that, where you're putting product in your, sort of in a competitor's area, and they see it, and of course, then they want.
And it was in headquarters.
That's right, in Dallas. So that was how we got our break into retail, and kind of what helped us expand our company again.
If you were to look back over the last 10 years, it has been 10 years now, since you've been on this amazing roller coaster ride, what has been the most difficult moment where you came the closest to shutting down the company, and you were maybe days away from either running out of cash or some of the other problems, and how did you survive?
For me personally, one of the big times was really about, a year into starting the company. We raised $1 million, and being sort of stupid early founders that we were like, oh yeah, we raised $1 million, let's start spending it. And yeah, sure, we'll just raise more money. And part of that was the mentality at the time. So we were stupid. We ended up spending almost all of that money within the first year. And literally we were down to less than a month of cash left. And we went out to VCs, we were trying to raise money, we're getting doors slammed in our face, we couldn't raise the money. And Charles and I were going, holy cow, what are we gonna do? And it came down to a couple of weeks left, and we had sort of no choice. We didn't want to, but we turned to our parents. And we said, hey, we're about to run out of money, can we borrow some money? And we ended up borrowing some money from them to get through that. And we were lucky and fortunate enough to have our accessories business then start to pick up, and within a couple of months we were able to start to generate some cash flow and show that we could generate some cash flow. But those are very, very challenging times to figure out how to get the money in. I think what ultimately allowed us to survive and to continue to grow was that we sort of decided, look, we just got to generate revenue. Because if you're not in the game, you never have a chance to win, right? Mm-hmm. And so there were long debates of, we're a game rental company, are we going to get into accessories? And then later on, we're in game rentals and accessories already, do we really want to be a publisher? And what kind of company are we? And you're sort of doing all of these different things. And those were critical inflection points for us. Really, really tough decisions, right? In retrospect, it seems very simple, but at the time you're sitting there, you're going, wow, do we really want to get into this completely new business? And is that really what we want to do? Or do we just want to stay here and try to make it work? And for us, we, of course, decided to go into those businesses because we saw opportunities there that, we capitalized on. And, you could, today, looking backwards, you could see the transition of how we went from rentals to making accessories for some of those rentals to ultimately making software for our accessories, right? But those are very difficult decisions at the time that, you never know how they're going to work out.
That's an incredible story, Kai. And words of wisdom for anyone listening in, and very inspirational and motivating as well. I hope we can all look up to you guys and learn some lessons from this. Thank you so much for speaking with us today.
Yeah, thanks, Alex.
Appreciate it.